I know, but we thought that was the case last time. Are we?
No, we're not even up
Oh, I'm talking, Jodie. Hey y'all. So I unmuted the microphone earlier, and I just thought I'd just laugh about stuff. We're just going to give you a bit of pre-notice before we start. Last week we had some issues with the microphone, and we're still concerned because the green light is on Jodie's webcam. No. Now, we don't want to use the webcam microphone. In fact, we're not even using the webcam full stop, so we're concerned that the light is on as if it's on. So if you can hear, if this microphone sounds really weird, please let us know. I'd greatly appreciate it, because I don't trust Jodie. I don't trust her in any way.
Guys, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it, but if there is any complications that you're getting, please let us know. We would highly appreciate it.
Now, I want to point out before we start the show as well, Jodie has said that she believes that this stream is going to go perfect. I don't have the same amount of faith in Jodie as I should do. So
yeah, you should have faith in me.
We're going to start in 15 seconds, so I hope that you enjoy the show, and I hope that if there's any mistakes, you blame Jodie for it. See you in a few minutes. Well, a few seconds. I apologise.
Are you ready? The Late Night Gaming Show!
Hello and welcome to the Late Night Gaming Show, episode 31. We have had a fun start already. We've been having a good laugh. If you could hear our voice beforehand, that was intentional. I thought I'd share that time with you. So it's great to have you here joining us live on the Late Night Gaming Show every single Thursday, but it is Wednesday today just because Jodie had other plans, because apparently other things are more important, but that's okay. Jodie, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Tim?
I'm not too bad. I'm wearing this ridiculous Pokemon hat because I've got Pokemon fever.
We know
you've got Pokemon fever. I can't wait to talk about the stuff in this week because it's exciting times. So we are not going to waste any time. We're going to jump into our first section, which is what we've been playing this week.
What you been playing this week?
So, Jodie, has it been? So you've been back for like a week or 2 weeks now? Are you getting back into the thick of things? Have you had time to play any games?
I've had time to play games. Of course I've had time to play games, Tim. We have been playing the new Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
We have been playing... I played a little bit of Fortnite and a bit of Fallout Shelter.
Now, you've been telling me you've actually fallen off. You've been falling off Fortnite a little bit. Now, Jodie was the one who was bullying me for not playing it for ages. Jodie, what happened?
I came to realise that I was no good at the game. And I was never going to get any better. So I kind of just enjoyed it for a little bit, and then... So I'm just in it for the V-Bucks now. That's all I'm in it for.
So that you can get the next...
Yeah, the next season pass.
The next season. Okay, cool. I've almost exclusive... Well, I have. All I've done is played Spider-Man so that we could get that review out for you guys. Oh, what an ordeal that was. It took a lot of effort, and I spent a long time yesterday finishing it off. It went up around 1 o'clock, the review. And it's a weird one because I'm happy that it's over, but I actually weirdly want to get back into the game and play a lot more.
Oh, okay.
So this has been, I feel like, right, I'm going to be careful what I say because we're live, so I have to think about what I'm saying.
Think about it. Think about it. No cut and edit on this, go.
But I feel like I've neglected my child this week. Now, let me make this clear before we continue. Now, this is why I'm being careful. I don't actually have a child, so we don't need the social services coming around. But what I mean is, I almost haven't played my Switch at all this week. And the Switch is my baby. And that's not through my own choices. I'm not blaming myself for this. But because I've had to play Spider-Man so much...
Are you blaming the people?
I don't know who to blame, but I just don't want to blame myself. But I've just had to play Spider-Man so I could get that review done. So I've neglected my Switch, and it feels like... I feel like it's been crying. I feel like I could hear it in the side of my ear just going, Daddy, play me, play me. And so it's been difficult, but I'm ready to get back on, play some more Rocket League. I need to unlock that stuff on the Rocket Pass that we did a video on as well. But I just need to play it more. I need to get back into it, Jodie. It feels wrong. You know what that feels like then? You know what that feels like now, don't you?
I know the feeling.
So it's quite sad, but I can't wait to get back in on it. And I know Mike has been neglecting his Switch almost since day one, and I don't like it. He played fair, like when he was on the show last, he talked a bit about how he was playing Zelda a lot. Well, a little bit, but then he got stuck. And he kept dying. And then he just didn't play it for a bit, and that upsets me. So, again, as we do like to do, we like to bully each other on this show. So, I would suggest that we bully Mike until he's playing at least 3 to 4 hours of Switch gameplay a day. That needs to happen, doesn't it?
It does.
I think it does need to happen. So, Mike, get on your Switch more. I don't want any of this nonsense like, oh, I have to play Fortnite on the PC because mouse and keyboard controls better. Play it on your Switch where it's meant to be played. Where it's meant to be played.
Well, can you wait till after you've watched the show? Because
we need your view.
Yeah,
we need your view.
So true.
And I saw that Dom liked the post recently. So if you're watching, if you don't have a Switch, you need to get it to play Fortnite with us. We'll have a great time.
We did bully him into getting a PlayStation. Didn't we?
We did actually.
Yeah, because he wanted to play The Division.
Oh, that was one of my favourite stories about Dom, though. We had an E3 party, so we had everybody round. We had a whole thing. And there was a moment where it got quite late, people feeling tired. Mike was almost falling asleep.
Mike fell asleep.
he stayed up the whole time till the conference died. But then Dom just went into radio silence because he was playing The Division on Jodie's PS4.
Yeah.
And he just went quiet and he played it for about 2 hours. And we were like, do you want to come and join us on this time? And he was like, no.
I think at one point I said to him, can I have a go? And he just went, no. I was like, oh, okay.
So yeah, I don't even know what we were talking about to begin with, but we're going to move on before I start losing my words. So without further ado, we're going to move on to section 2, which is the news.
It's time for some news, yeah. It's time for some news.
Welcome back. It is time for the news, and I've been almost giddy over the last 2 days just wanting to talk about this stuff. Because obviously Beth, my wife, just doesn't care. She tries, but she doesn't care. So I am so excited to finally just offload all my excitement on this show right now. So we have got 7 items on the list today. It's quite a jam-packed news week. And there's a lot going on with Nintendo. Nintendo. So, we're going to get straight into it. So, number 1, last week we talked about the Nintendo Direct. Unfortunately got cancelled or delayed because of the earthquake. I found out that actually the earthquake happened something like 400 miles away from the Nintendo site. I'm very confused. But apparently there's been like typhoons and all sorts, and that's how the N came off the Nintendo headquarters. Well, something crazy. I don't know. It all sounds very crazy, but they did it out of respect. They started, which makes sense.
Definitely.
So... It got delayed, but it is happening tomorrow at 11 p.m. UK time, which is not great for us. We like it when it's around 3 o'clock. That's the sweet spot.
Yep.
And we can try and get out of work so that we can watch that. But that's going to be happening basically tomorrow at 11 p.m. I'm not sure if we're going to be streaming that or not. We might do, but we will see. But what is going to be happening in that, we had a little discussion about that last week about what we think might get announced. But since then, some stuff has been announced. Yeah. The first thing is that the Nintendo Online service, which we've been waiting for almost 2 years now, it has finally got an actual release date, and it's happening on Tuesday next week. That is really soon. That is really soon. So that was actually tweeted out by Nintendo of America. So hopefully that is true for all territories. It's not just America. So it's going to cost £20. I think that's totally worth it. Totally reasonable.
For the year, yeah.
Considering that you're going to be getting like a bunch of NES classics and stuff that are going to be, you're going to be able to play online with them. We're going to be able to play Mario Brothers 3 online. What? That sounds amazing.
I just never played that game by now.
Well, you will be now because it will be free for you. And there's also going to be, so if you're still not sure, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, but if you're still not sure whether you're going to buy it, You get a 7-day free trial as well, so you can see if you enjoy it or not. So I wish it was 2 weeks, because then that would have took you to the end of the month, and then you could have started it at the start of October. So come on, Nintendo, be a bit more generous. Number 3, Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. So they talked a while ago, because people wanted Final Fantasy 15 to come to the Switch.
They did.
And I think this is one of those sad occasions where basically it was obvious that game was supposed to be announced and then released the same day on the Switch. And basically, it got released on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and it said coming soon to the Switch. So it's obvious that in this Nintendo Direct, it's literally going to say available now, and it was supposed to be available last week. I feel like we're going to see a lot of that. So you're going to have all this stuff that we already know about. But Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition. So this is the one that was on the mobile, that you could play on mobile. But you're going to be able to use normal controls now, which I'm quite excited about. Jodie, this is your chance to get in on Final Fantasy 15. Yes, it's your time to get into Final Fantasy series. So as well, on top of that, they had a sale where it was basically, if you bought it within the first week, I think you got something like 25% off or something. So it's £15 instead of something like 25 or something. So let's face it, I'm going to be buying that.
We know you're going to buy that too.
I can't wait. So you're probably going to get that. And then number 4, now Jodie, this is where you're going to be able to join in.
Yeah.
So out of nowhere, this little trailer just drops. I saw it on Facebook first, and then I watched it on every other platform possible. So there was a Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, Nintendo Switch limited edition that got shown off. And I was just like, yes!
I did exactly the same thing.
So I saw it, I sent it to Jodie on WhatsApp. And then what was your reaction?
I was just like, no, he's lying to me. And then I opened it, and then I was just like, this can't be real. Someone's fobbing us off. And then it's like on the Nintendo Facebook page, and I was like, no, this is real.
Yeah, but what did you say to me just after that? What did you say, Jodie?
I can't remember. What
you said, defo pre-ordering that. Now there's a significant reason why this is important. Now, the reason is that she's laughing because she knows how ridiculous this is. So every time a PS4 limited edition happens, like a console, she goes, oh, I bet you're buying that. You buy like every console. Oh, why'd you need more than one? And the God of War one was the last one where you were just like, I told you you're going to buy it. Now, what's happening here, guys, is that Jodie's just bought a Nintendo Switch. She's probably had it for about 2 months. 2 months?
No, a bit longer than that.
A bit longer than that?
Yeah.
Really? 3 months?
I've had it about 3 or 4.
She's had it less than half a year, let's say. And now she's going to buy another one because it's got limited edition stuff on it. Guys, what's going on?
It looks cooler than mine.
That's the problem with the PS4s. There's always one that looks cooler.
No, I'm not bothered about the PS4.
So anyway, we both pre-ordered them. I pre-ordered the Pikachu one. Basically, they're exactly the same, but it comes with a different version of the game. So I got the Pikachu one. You got the Eevee one. I can't wait for that to come out now. I'm literally just like, it needs to happen. So it comes with a Joy-Con that's the colour of Eevee and a Joy-Con that comes with the colour of Pikachu. If you saw the safety strap things, the colours of them, I just think, they don't look good. I think if you actually swap them round and put the Pikachu one on the Eevee one, vice versa, it would actually look better. It actually matched a little bit better.
Yeah.
But, and then the back has like silhouettes of Pikachu and Eevee. I'm not actually too hot on that, but it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It looks so good. It looks so good.
Boss.
And I can't wait. Now, on top of that, though, things got complicated. Because then I remembered that there was a rumour that there was a Smash Brothers one coming out.
You did.
So I saw a picture of it, and I wasn't sure it was real. But then now I've seen this one. It's kind of in a similar style, and I bet it's real. So now I'm in the dilemma. Which one do I get? Now I'm going to get the Pokemon one. So really the dilemma is, do I buy that one as well? So I'm considering it, but I reckon
I'm not that bad, so I'm just going the Pokemon one, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, don't be surprised if that Smash Brothers one gets announced tomorrow. I think that is very likely. But don't be surprised if I pre-order that one too. So I'm excited for that. But I just want to talk about the pricing of the Pokemon one, because we were talking about this just before. The pricing on it is really good.
It's ridiculous.
So I priced up before they actually announced the price. And to get the console, the Pokeball controller, and the game, it came to about £390. So I thought they were going to charge either $380 or $400 for it. And there's just nothing. That's just how much it's going to cost. But this is actually about £40 to £50 cheaper than that. So essentially, what you're getting is you're getting the controller for free, which is actually just a really good deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely, if you haven't got a Switch yet or you want to upgrade, can you call it an upgrade?
Yeah.
Semi-upgrade. Then this is actually a really good deal, and I'd actually recommend it. All right, moving on. We have got number 5, which is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, a childhood memory game for me. Me and my brother played this loads when we were younger. On the GameCube, you actually had to have, each player had to have a Game Boy Advance that you linked to the GameCube. So if you had 4 players, you actually had to have 3 other friends that just happened to have Game Boy Advances and link cables to do it. But they're actually remastering this for PS4 and the Switch. So I was just like melting with excitement when I found this out. So I can't wait. It's not actually one of the better Final Fantasy games, but it's just really fun. It's really different as well. You might even like it, Jodie. It's more of an action game. So
okay.
I reckon we could play that. We could play that.
We'll see.
Moving on. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, I just said has been released, so I don't know why I'm saying it again, but it's on the list twice. So it's so nice. I did it twice. There you go. And then finally, number 7, Black Ops 4 Blackout. So the Battle Royale mode is available now. So if you pre-ordered the game, you can actually play that right now. So I don't know if anybody actually cares about that. I played it briefly. I'm going to talk about it in reviews of the week, but it's there if you want it. So you do actually have to pre-order the game. But pro tip, if you want to play it, just pre-order the game and then cancel the pre-order after you get the code. There's a Timmy pro tip right there. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to move on to our next section, which is what is out this week.
Can someone tell me what's out this week? Hey-oh.
Welcome back. Jodie got preoccupied, so what is out this week? It went on for a bit longer than normal.
Sorry, guys.
I'm going to just point out that you said there'd be no mistakes.
I was checking. It was Mike's fault. It was Mike's fault because he's messaging us, and I'm thinking there's something wrong with the stream. That's why I'm like, checking my phone.
Oh boy, it's all good. Apparently, there's a slight buzz. It might be a big buzz. We have no idea because we can't hear it.
It's him. He's messaging us, and he can hear the buzz from my phone.
The buzz. Is that what it is? So it's
me,
you.
It's my phone. Yeah.
So Jodie, having a phone on. What are you doing, Jodie? What are you doing?
Checking the stream.
All right, so we're going to move on. It is what is out this week. So as always, I basically tell you what games are coming out this week. And then Jodie, Colonel Douchebag over here, is gonna let you know what game you should buy. If you
don't
want to
buy any, just save your money.
I just want to point out as well, I only found out reasonably recently that douchebag is actually really bad in some parts of America. I don't care about that. I say it anyway.
I thought I was a scumbag.
Yeah, but today you were Colonel Douchebag.
Oh,
so
okay.
In the UK, it's not a bad thing. Just in case anybody's offended.
My feelings aren't hurt because we know that he's the true douchebag.
All right, moving on. Game number 1, we've got Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That's coming out on Friday. I don't have much to say about that. It's weird. I'm not excited for that at all, even though I really like those games. But there you go. We've got NBA 2K19, one of Jodie's favourite games of all time. We've also got NHL 19, which is an ice hockey game, in case you didn't know. The previous one was a basketball game. Then we've got the Nintendo Labo Vehicle Kit. Now, this looks really cool. So even if you're not bothered about Labo, this time you basically get a wheel and pedal. You get like a joystick for an aeroplane. And then you get it's weird like cylinder thing that's for like a submarine. But you basically the game, right? They showed off the actual game that you get with it. And it's kind of like a little open world like island, and you can like drive around on it. And you take this little cardboard key out, and to transform your car into like a plane, you just slot it into the joystick, and it transforms into a plane. And it does all this crazy stuff. So I was actually tempted. I reckon that's a great Christmas present for Timmy.
I didn't know.
That's a fantastic Christmas
I
present.
think that sounds boss.
It does. And you can actually use the wheel with Mario Kart 8.
I know, I thought about that.
So that was pretty cool. I am interested. Mike pointed out the other week that the pedal's made out of cardboard. And I didn't think about this. Don't push that pedal down too hard because that is going to squish.
I know.
So that's a good
imagine
point.
getting too far into it? You're like that stamping.
I know. I'm interested to see how rugged that thing actually is because that is a concern of mine.
It's going to have to be more durable than the rest of
Yeah.
them.
Then we got a bunch of PC releases. This is just for you, mate. PC releases just for you. So this is actually 5. This is 5 games. Now this is really significant because these are all Xbox exclusive games. These came out on the Xbox One first. Then since they did all the, you buy it once, you get it on the PC as well. Since they've done that thing. It went onto the Xbox store on the PC. But these games are actually coming to Steam now, which I find really interesting and weird. So, like, Microsoft is actually putting their games not even on their platforms anymore, which I find really bizarre. So I don't know if this is going to carry on to games like Sea of Thieves and things like that, but we'll see. I mean, Sea of Thieves is rubbish anyway, so it doesn't matter. No, all right, so the games are, you got Zoo Tycoon Ultimate Animal Collection on PC. It's not that good. I'm a massive Zoo Tycoon fan, and this was massive disappointment. You got Disney Pixar's Rush on PC. It's all right for kids. Then you got Disneyland Adventures on PC, which is an amazing game. It is so good, that game.
Is that the one where you walk around the Disney park?
They've like remade Disneyland basically, but then it's got like a few little games, and it is really good. And Beth was obsessed with that game. There's literally a thing on it, right? So like, like collectibles. You get this wand, and for some reason they thought it'd be a great idea to make it that you have to shoot the wand at every single light in the park, and it's like as like a collectible. So like in each section there's literally like 50 lights that you've got to hit with this to turn them on. And Beth was going around doing every single... There must be like 500 lights in that park. It's like insane amount. And she's literally going... And I remember at one point she was literally like, I'm not even enjoying this, but I have to do it. And I was just like watching her going around, just throwing this wand at the flipping lights, thinking, what are you doing? But it is way better than what I just... It's not that. That's just a side thing. Okay. You've also got Super Lucky's Tale. And you've got Recore Definitive Edition. So let me... rerun through them dead quick so you've remembered them all because I talked too much about light bulbs. So you got Shadow of the Tomb Raider, NBA 2K19, NHL 19, Nintendo Labo Vehicle Kit, Zoo Tycoon Ultimate Animal Collection, Disney Pixar's Rush, Disneyland Adventures, Super Lucky's Tale, and Recore Definitive Edition. Jodie, what are people buying this week?
Tomb Raider.
Straight up?
Yeah.
No questions about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the easy option, isn't it?
I was going to go with the ice hockey, but I'd change my mind.
The ice hockey?
Yeah, I'm joking.
You can't pick the ice hockey.
No,
it was between, to me, it was between that and the Nintendo Labo Vehicle Kit.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's for everybody, is it?
No, it's for people that are too far into the Switch.
Or people who just like being creative and making stuff. I actually just get Beth to make the stuff and then I just play with it. So there you go. Our pick of the week is Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and that is out on Friday. So we are now going to move on to our next section, which is Reviews of the Week.
Oh, it's time to get funky with Reviews of the Week.
All right, welcome back. It is time for Reviews of the Week, and we're laughing from something that just happened, but it's fine. Okay, so we've got two. We're going to have a review discussion, so we're going to talk about... We're laughing because we were like, oh, let's check to see if Mike said anything's going wrong. And he just went, oh, scumbag. All right, moving on. Okay, so we're going to have a review discussion around the Spider-Man review because Jodie's played a lot of... She's actually probably played Spider-Man more than I have. Did I say Spider-Man or Spider-Man?
You said Spider-Man.
Maybe that's the new Pokemon, Spider-Man. So we're going to talk about Spider-Man, and then I'm also going to give you a really quick, very quick, like, pre-review of Black Ops 4's Blackout mode because I've played it. Mike, nice. I pre-ordered the game not to buy it but just to play the Blackout mode. I have no intention of buying that game. And Jodie, if you don't make that phone stop moving around, I'm gonna go sick.
It's staying on the phone.
All right, so what should we talk about first, Jodie? I'm gonna let you choose. I'm gonna talk about Spider-Man first or Blackout.
Do Blackout.
Gonna get that out of the way.
Yeah.
All right, so Blackout is Black Ops 4's Battle Royale mode.
Okay.
It's the only thing that could make me buy that game. Has it done it? Well, I'll tell you, Jodie. Let me tell you. So this IGN actually said that this was a very polished PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. That's what they defined it as. I can tell you that is a load of rubbish. It basically, right, if you play Call of Duty, which I'm assuming everybody probably has by now, it's basically that on a giant map. And let me tell you now, that does not translate well. Call of Duty is good for small areas because you just die so quickly. So it's basically just on a giant map, and I don't really feel like it works well. I played it a little bit, and I was kind of just like, this is so boring. And it's just like really clunky, like how you pick up equipment and how you equip equipment. It's not good. Now I'm going to let you have a go on it later, Jodie, and I'm interested to see if you like it anymore, because you like PUBG a little bit more than Fortnite. I like PUBG way more than Fortnite, and I wasn't into this. You can currently only play on duos, so I did get added to some random person, but he died almost instantly, and he went, go for it, crazy Timmy 223, and then he just disconnected. So that was his encouragement. But yeah, it's just, I'd say like the amount of health that you have is slightly more than not in a normal Call of Duty match, but it's not much, and it was like so easy to kill people. So it was just, think of how frustrating it is when you play a match on Call of Duty and you just die over and over again, and even the good players just die over and over again because it's just, you just died that quick. It's that, but the match is 30 minutes and there's just people everywhere. And the map's really boring, so I really wasn't a fan. I don't know what the general consensus is around the internet, if it's any good or not, but I didn't think it was worth it. And if that's what they were hoping was going to save Call of Duty, sad times for everybody. So that was Blackout. I'm not even going to give it a score because it doesn't deserve one. And we're going to move on to Spider-Man. The Spider-Man review went up last night at about 1 p.m. in the morning. 1 a.m. in the morning. That's how tired I am from it doing it. So that's gone up. I don't want to spoil the score, because if you haven't watched it, I don't want to incentivize you to not watch it.
Well, I agree with the score that we gave.
So you agreed with the score?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I'll tell you, we gave it a good score.
We did.
A very good score, but how good, you'll have to go and check out. So, Jodie, what about Spider-Man do you like so much that warrants that score, do you think?
I think because when you've played the old ones and then you come into this new one,
yeah,
it just looks 10 times better. And of course it's going to, you know what I mean? But I just love how it's very diverse and there's like a lot of stuff going on, and the fact that there's more than one enemy that you're trying to sort out at the same time. And I'm trying not to give spoilers because
it was so hard to write the review without saying stuff. But yeah,
I think we need to do a spoiler review.
Yeah,
at some point as well.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, it just brought back those childhood memories of just swinging for hours because you couldn't be bothered doing the missions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just sitting on top of the towers and just looking over the city, pretending that you were like the best thing in the world. I mean, it was just boss altogether. Like, I don't think I've had a game in a long time where I've not been bored at some point.
Yeah.
And I've literally not been bored at all. Because I go, oh, well, I've had enough of doing this bit. I'm going to go do the main mission now. Yeah. And then I'll come back and do a bit more.
I actually found that, like, it unlocked, I think it was about probably a quarter into the game, it unlocked fast travel. I just never even touched it. Because, like, why would you? And it was even like, if you were just going, I'm going to go and get this collectible, which is like halfway across the map, you'd just be swinging and then you'd just see a crime taking place.
Yeah.
Just underneath, and you just want to drop it in, just jump. And it's so like fluid how you do it, because you just drop in, you start fighting them, you stop it, you stop the crime, and then just carry on your way. And it's so good for that. There's always something to like grab your attention, isn't there? But the thing that I talked about in the review as well that really caught me off guard was just, I actually, because in some of the reviews that came out like a couple of days before the game came out, they were saying that like the story just kind of retreads old ground and all this. But it caught me off guard just how much I really enjoyed the story, and I think like I said, about halfway through, the mood of the game just completely changes. Yeah, it does, yeah. And I really wasn't expecting it because it's so light-hearted and everything up to that point. But like the stakes really change, and you're introduced to other characters and stuff. But yeah, I just thought the story was really good, and I love the characters in it as well.
No,
so who's your favorite character? That's not a spoiler. was basically Spider-Man.
Yeah, you can't really say anything. Aunt May, you gotta go with Aunt May.
Yeah, Aunt May was really cool. I really liked and this isn't really a spoiler because he's been in trailers, but Dr. Otto.
Yeah.
Or is it Octo? Otto, something like that.
Otto.
I thought they did him really well as well. It was cool to see him as like a nice guy and working with you and everything. Before something happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I said in the review as well, I really like the choice of villains because there's loads of villains in this. And I think they utilize them really well. And I think the one they make the main villain is a really, like, I didn't even really know much of. I've never even heard of him. And I think a lot of people will be the same, but I think it was such a good use of it. And I loved how it was almost like some of the other villains were like scared of him and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the story was great. And like Jodie was saying, I think you could literally just spend hours just swinging across the city. And even when you finish the game and you've done everything, I feel like it's the type of game you're just like, oh, I've got the TV and I'll shove that on and just swing around for a bit. And it's just so good. It's just so good. So,
Definitely.
yeah. Is there anybody you wouldn't recommend this game to? You think it's just kids in general?
Yeah. I mean, like, more youngish ones. When you get those kids that are just like, Spider-Man! And you're like, no, you're not playing Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was one thing that really shocked me as well. So in the morality score side of things, I'll say the morality score because that's not really a spoiler, is it? It got an 8 out of 10. I was like this on whether I was going to give it a little bit lower. But again, about halfway through, like, it gets a lot darker. And, you will literally see, like, innocent people just being mowed down and all sorts. And we're going to kind of, the topic of the week is going to be based around this, and like it's so tricky to review that in a morality sense because it's like there's all this really bad stuff happening, but you're the good guy stopping it. So it's like, it's really hard whether how to put that morality score on that, you know what I mean? But it surprised me like how violent it was, because I think exactly what you're saying, because usually you think something like Grand Theft Auto, you think, it's obvious that like a 12-year-old shouldn't play that.
Yeah.
But like with this game, exactly what you're saying, you'll have kids just going, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. And I think even like the way the trailers do it and stuff, you could see parents, I'm telling you, this will happen. There'll be loads of parents who'll be thinking, buy my kids Spider-Man, that'll be really fun. And if you watch the review, I'll talk about it a little bit more, but like, there's some really violent scenes in that, and I was saying there's even Spider-Man himself. He literally, there's a point where you can use a move where it's like stealth, and you're like on top of a steel girder or something, and he'll literally just drag him with his webs, and he'll just like slam him into the steel girder with his head. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, I don't know if I would want kids to see that. You know what I mean? But it is a 16.
Poor guy. Being it in the face.
Poor gang member who's trying to kill everyone. So yeah, but the game is just incredible, and if you have a PS4, you owe it to yourself to play this game. Are you like a big Spider-Man fan? Because I'm not.
See, I'm not, but since Homecoming, the film came out, that's when I was like, I can relate to this character a bit more. And then from there, and especially with like the Avengers, the last one coming out, I was like, it touched the heartstrings.
That was a horrendous ending. We're not gonna spoil it, but that ending, I can't believe that.
You've not watched it. You need to go back and just watch like all the Marvel films, and
that's
then
what
watch
we
that
did,
film.
and that's why my wife was devastated in the cinema.
I got in the car afterwards, and me and the person I was with, we just sat in the car in silence because we just didn't know what to say. We were just like. Okay, so when this came up that it was going to come out, I was just like, I'm just so happy.
I mean, like, that's the thing. I'm not really. I've always wanted to be, but I never have been a comic book person. I'm just not. I want to be, but I can't. I've tried. It's not going to happen. But like, I'd say within the last sort of, I'd say a year ago, we started watching through all the movies, and then especially since Infinity War, we literally watched all of them in order, not when they came out, where it fits in the timeline. Yeah. So me and Beth watched through all of them, and she was not into it at all, but she's like into it now. She literally was moaning at me before going, Tim, why haven't we seen Ant-Man and the Wasp? And I was like, well, because I couldn't move. And she was like, we need to go right now. I was like, I don't think it's in the cinema. And she was like, I knew this would happen. You're
gonna fight her on TV.
But yeah, but I've never really been into, I mean, I've actually enjoyed some of the past Spider-Man games, but I've never really been into Spider-Man. But exactly what you were saying, since like Homecoming and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I've been into it way more. And this game has just got me. I'm all in on Spider-Man. I think he's so cool. But they're doing really well.
Are you the person that watches the Marvel films and finishes, like turns it off as soon as it finishes?
What do you mean?
Like before the credits start?
Why would I turn it off before the credits?
Because people don't read the credits.
We always watch till the end of the credits.
Do you watch the little scene at the end?
Of course we do.
I didn't know how much of a...
Oh, at the end, you've got to sit there and wait. I mean, to be honest with you, it doesn't even have to be a Marvel film. You will sit at the end of every credits thing in case there's something, you know what I mean?
I remember once when I watched, I think it was Civil War, and we walked out before the end of the credits.
Why would you do that?
I think it was Civil War, and then I watched it a couple of months ago, rewatched it, and I just waited because I was like, oh, it's got the end bit, and then you just had Captain America just pop and go, patience is a virtue, and then he just walks off, and I'm like, scumbag.
So this took a different turn. This just got crazy. But yeah, I think we both unanimously agree, like, Spider-Man is such a good game. You are, literally, even if you're not a Spider-Man fan, like I really wasn't that big of a fan, you will enjoy this game. It's just like, I think a lot of people got into God of War because of how good it was this time, and it's kind of that situation. Even if you're not into the property, you will enjoy this game, and the story is really good and everything as well. So I definitely recommend a purchase on that. So there you go. And if you have a PS4, you have no excuse. Buy it. Buy it now. To be fair, probably give it January next year. I predict the price will probably go down a little bit. That's not an excuse for you, Mike.
You still have to buy it.
You can just, to be fair, you can just play my copy once. Moving on, we're going to move on to topic of the week. Jodie.
Which button do I press?
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to do some ramblings while Jodie, when she should have been prepared.
We've not got the intro for topic of the week. Sorry, guys.
All right, so I'm gonna demonstrate this for you guys. Are you ready? Topic of the week. All right, guys, so it's time for the topic of the week. I hope you enjoyed that. Jodie said there'd be no mistakes.
Oh, wait there, I've got it. No, I'm joking. I'm not really. His face dropped.
I think I should do that every week, to be fair. I think that is a great idea. I'll act out one of the sections. All right, so the topic for this week is related to what we've just been talking about. And this is something that I think we found tricky for a long time. So when we review a game, we always do a morality score. So we talk about the good things that are in the game, the bad things that are in the game. So it's kind of like warning you about if things are like overly violent or gory, or if there's a lot of sex scenes and nudity and all that kind of stuff. Because for us as Christians, obviously, we want to like protect ourselves from things. The Bible talks about that a lot, about protecting what you see with your eyes and all this stuff. So what I want to talk about this time is because Spider-Man, this has happened a few times where it's really difficult to place a score on something because there's all this bad stuff happening in the game. Like we talked about, there's just like villains like killing people and innocent people in the streets and running people over and robbing people and shooting at each other and all sorts. But then you're like playing, so there's all that bad stuff which we would take into account when we're doing the morality score. But then you're playing as Spider-Man, who is a really good guy. Now, I think the thumbnail says, "Is Spider-Man a good guy?" So we're kind of talking about, is the game actually a good thing or a bad thing? It's really hard to decide. Yeah. I mean, I think we'll actually talk about Spider-Man's character because I think that's actually really important. But we're kind of talking about, with all that bad stuff going in the background, you're playing as a good character who's actively trying to stop those bad things, but you're still seeing the bad stuff. So is it okay still to play those games? And like, I'll talk about like why I came to the conclusion on an 8 for the morality score, but Jodie, what do you think? Do you think it's okay with all this bad stuff going on? Like, how do we as like Christians and just normal people, how do we decide if we want to expose ourselves to all that stuff, even if we're playing as the good guy? Well, she's like, oh boy, I don't know.
I think in general with games, we've got to be careful. Doesn't matter if it's 16, a 12, a 3. I don't care.
And sometimes the age ratings are actually, we feel, lower than what they should be. So, yeah.
But I think with Spider-Man, they got it spot on. And I think, especially with Spider-Man, like we always think, oh, it's a kid-friendly sort of thing. But this one isn't. Like, it's not like full-on kid-friendly. And I think I was on Instagram and I'd put a picture up of, the picture you sent me about the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, oh, we unboxed this, da-da-da-da. And then one of the kids who's actually, I think he's about 12, 13, and he's like, oh, I've got this. And I'm like, you shouldn't have that. But anyway, but I think like on a spectacle of like violence and stuff and the way it is, from the point that the violence is going to because you're defeating people and you're trying to make the place a better place, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But it's when it's unnecessary violence.
Yeah.
So like if you were playing as an enemy and making it unnecessarily to do that, then I'd be like, no thanks. So
yeah, I think so I was just saying just before that, like about Spider-Man as an actual character, and in the review as well I said about how Spider-Man's actually one of the more moral villains, and I think one thing I really loved about this game is that the way that they use him in the story, it shows him as more of a human. It shows his human side, and obviously he's a human, but you know what I mean? It shows his emotions. And like, I love how it's not just all about destroying the bad guys. It's like dealing with his personal life as well. And you see him like working through the things that he's doing. And like, there was even a thing I said as well, like if you just like kick an enemy off the top of a building, as he's falling, you expect him to just fall and hit the ground and die. But because obviously Spider-Man is a more moral person and he doesn't want to kill people, you actually see the enemy just like get webbed into the side of the wall before he hits the ground. So it's like saving them. And I really love that that Spider-Man, they put that into the game, that element of it. So I think exactly what you're saying. It's not just unnecessary violence where it's like, let's just be over the top violent for no reason. Like, I remember the first game that I can really think of where I felt like that was Resident Evil 5, where it's like they just went over the top on the gore and the violence because it was like, that's what's going to make people buy this game. But I don't feel like that's what's happening here, you know what I mean? And Spider-Man himself is very thoughtful about who he's going to attack and stop, and who, you know, those types of things. And I don't think it's ever going to be a cut and dry thing. It's never going to be an easy one. I think, like, you know, Grand Theft Auto, for example, is an interesting one because it's like, yeah, you could just not play the story mode. You could just be it, but I mean, it's all about being a gangster. You know, that sort of thing. It's tricky, so it's kind of game by game, but just to give you a bit of perspective on why I gave it an 8 and why I didn't give it really low for being violent is because I think there's more to it than just the violence. It's not like you're saying just glorifying being extra violent, and there's not like blood flying everywhere when the enemy hits the steel girder and things like that. So it's tamed, but there's still stuff happening. So when we do the morality score, it's more about warning you about what's in it. I talked about that some of the themes in it, like there's people, you know, I don't want to give too much away, but there's like loss in it, you know, losing people that you love, and you know, there's control in there, like people being controlling and all sorts. And those kind of themes, they're not immoral in themselves. It's just that some people might struggle with that or like not be able to deal with it. I think a lot of young kids wouldn't be able to handle that kind of thing, you know what I mean?
No, definitely.
Too young to handle that. So that's kind of our perspective on it. I think I love Spider-Man because he's a younger person, but he's kind of got his head screwed on, right, if you like. But you get to see him like trying to deal with these moral dilemmas, and you kind of grow and learn from it, don't you? So.
And I think what I love as well about Spider-Man is that he didn't ask to be a superhero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of superheroes that we see are because they wanted to be a superhero. Whereas Spider-Man, he didn't ask to get bit by that spider, but he did. And I really felt for him. So I was like, well done for taking up and listening to Uncle Ben and carrying on.
With great power comes great responsibility. Probably the most quoted thing
in the world.
Yeah, but so anyway. There you go. I hope you enjoyed our little discussion there. Let us know your thoughts. What did you think about Spider-Man? Do you agree with what we've said or not? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you absolutely hated it, give it a thumbs down. And make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified of every new video. We're going to have Trashy Tuesdays going up on Tuesday, so check that out. And if you've enjoyed this anyway, go and check out that Spider-Man review. We worked really hard on it, and I hope you enjoyed it. So go and check that out, and we will see you very, very soon and next week for episode 32. See ya. Bye.